Well, the basic difference is the pandemic, obviously. We have taken all the necessary measures to meet all the health requirements and whatnot. We believe we can run a very safe election, both for our workers and for electors. And electors will also have the choice to do mail-in ballot, which, by the way, has existed in Canada for quite a while. But this time we expect more people will be choosing that for whatever reason. The first thing that'll happen when you walk into a polling station is that there's going to be a person there wearing PPE, obviously, mask and whatnot, who will take down your name and a contact number so that if anything were to happen in that polling station, like an outbreak or whatever, and health authorities required us to know who was there, we would be able to transfer that list to them. Now, those lists, by the way, are going to be destroyed after a certain amount of time. And if they're not required by Health Canada, they will be destroyed. Uh, so we will not keep that record. Then people will go as they normally do. They'll stand in line. I can guarantee you there's going to be some lineup sometimes. And then they will be directed by a person to their polling stations. You know that in one of these voting stations, there's usually more than one poll. So you're directed, you give them your address, your name, they direct you to your polling area. And when you get there, there's usually two people in all past elections. And they take your name, your address, they ask to see your identification, whether it's that gives your identity and your address. And you need to prove that. For example, a driver's license will work for that because it has both the address and the name. And then they scratch you off the voting list and they give you a ballot. You go behind the little screen, you vote with that single use pencil, obviously, and then you come back out and you put your ballot in the box as you would normally do in any election, and you've done your duty. There is no electronic vote in Canada, and it's very important to stress that. Some people think that there might be because some municipalities in the last municipal elections in Ontario, particularly, have tried that out, but there's no such thing in Canada for a federal election. So the only other choice, except going to the polls on advanced polling day or on election day, the only other choice is to vote by mail. Now, that's fairly easy to do. In Canada, we don't actually call it voting by mail. We call it a special ballot. And that special ballot is available right today in your local returning office. You can go in there, ask for a special ballot, and they'll take care of you. And they'll check your ID and all that stuff like they would normally, and they give you this little ballot. Now, what's really important about that ballot is it has no candidate name on it. Because candidates have until another week and a half or two, whatever, to register. So we can't print ballots until everybody is registered. So you have a blank ballot on which you have to write the name of the candidate for whom you want to vote. And remember, in Canada, we vote for local candidates. We don't vote for a party. We don't vote for a party leader. We vote for local candidates. So you better know the name of your local candidate that you want to vote for and know how to spell his or her name, obviously. So you do that, and then they will take care of it. Now, there's also another method, which is by mail. So you can go on elections.ca, www.elections.ca, and you can see right there, the first thing to check is whether you're registered. That's one of the first things that appears on the website. Are you registered? And you click on that, and it tells you what to do to verify whether you're registered or not. If you voted in the last election, there's a fair chance you're registered. If you haven't moved or anything like that, fair chance you're perfect in there. But it's always good to verify. After you've done that, there's another place where you can click ways to vote, and then you'll see vote by special ballot or mail-in ballot or whatever. And you can click on that and you'll get instructions on how to apply to do that. You can apply online by filling out the whatever form is there, and by attaching the proper identification documents that have your name and your address. And you send that in, and you will receive in the mail what's called a special ballot kit. That special ballot kit will include one of those ballots that I told you about, where you have to write the name of the candidate you want to vote for, and envelopes. And you put that in an envelope, it goes into another envelope, and that last envelope that you're going to be using is the one that has an Election Canada address on it. It's already addressed, it already has its stamp on it, and then you can just mail it back using Canada Post, or you could take it to your returning office prior to the elections. And on election day, but only on election day, you can also take it directly to your polling station, the one that will have appeared on the voter information card that you will receive within a few weeks. And it tells you where to vote, and you can take it there. That's particularly useful for people who might be late in choosing to vote by mail, and they're afraid that it's not going to make it to the office, to the Election Canada office. So they can always use that. But really what we're telling people is the very most efficient way of voting is still to vote in person on election day or at advance polls. But if you can't, and you want to vote by mail, apply now, because it's a short election, 36 days. You're dealing with the Postal Service. Who knows what can happen? It's always better to plan early. Another thing people need to remember is if they've decided to vote by mail and they've applied and Elections Canada has sent them one of those kits, they cannot change their mind. They cannot vote any other way. They have to vote by mail. I suppose people can do anything, but their vote will be discarded as being spoiled. If you want to become a candidate in a federal election, you have to be able to vote, obviously. So you have to be the right age and all of those requirements. And then the most important, I suppose, is to register. Candidates have until 21 days before election day. So that would be, I believe, the 30th of September to register. It could be 31st. I mean, 21 days in order to vote, in order to register. And then they have to be certified by Elections Canada. It's sometimes a fairly short process that's done by the local returning officers, and then it's sent to Ottawa, and Ottawa certifies it. And then you're a candidate. It's as simple as that.